What screams, I'm very insecure. I used to be very insecure, so I'll go from my own experience. Lying about something to seem cool. It's very obviously a signal of insecurity because they don't like who they are now. Being unnecessarily mean-spirited to people. One-upping people constantly in conversations. When you're reading an askreddit thread to make sure you're not making it too obvious. Bragging about things not even in your control, like your parents' wealth. The more you talk about how good you are in bed and how many women you fucked, the less I believe you. Just not shutting up about yourself. Constantly lifting yourself up and comparing yourself to others, while pushing them down. All those people who post on Facebook those quotes that are like, "Don't worry about those who talk behind your back, they're behind you for a reason." Or they tag themselves into any and every place including the docs/hospital/somewhere personal. Then when someone asks if they're okay they reply with, "Don't ask hun XOXOX." Ugh, so basically. People who live their lives through very active social medias, I suppose I'm trying to say. People who always have to one-up you in everything. If you tell a story they have a better one, if you buy something expensive they have to be something even more expensive. Some people's whole life is trying to win some non-existent competition. People who feel the need to judge everyone in a negative light and who only want to see the worst in others so they can feel better about themselves. It just shows how unhappy they truly are. I've found that a lot of people on Twitter that feel the need to post about how great of a person they are and they have nothing but good intentions are usually the most toxic people I've seen. Banning Winnie the Pooh because someone said you looked like him. Incapable of self-reflection. BF, alright, I'm going to work, babe. GF, you better not be fucking with bitches at work. Trying to dominate conversations, not to be confused with just being a charismatic person. This is a self-roast, but I think I degrade myself just to hear others deny it. Is that insecure? Scene, gets a notification on phone. XGF, who's chatting to you now? Me, it's a game notification. Me, goes to shower. Me, comes back to find GF going through every message, email, and WhatsApp. Does that scream I'm insecure? When you question yourself, do they actually like me or are they pretending to? Or when you think you're gonna bother other people if you talk to them? I hope you all are doing great. Women that guard their men like a solitaire. I was leaving an abusive relationship. My friend offered me a place to stay. The hitch was if she wasn't there and just her husband was, I had to leave. I got a hotel room. Not dealing with that. People whose self-esteem is so low that they can't stand the sight of people with high self-esteem, so they will try to break down anyone they perceive as more successful than them. When a group of this type of people comes together, a major crab bucket mentality arises and they will target people perceived as highly competent or successful for bullying, gossip, false rumors, and other things that should have been wiped out after elementary school. Clicking on this post, to see if any of the top comments are things you do. I only get along with guys. Other girls hate me. Face with tears of joy, zany face. A password made up on only lowercase letters. Automatically assuming negative intent. E.g. You friend didn't pick your call? Fuck her, she's trying to avoid me. I don't care about her anyway. Constantly wedging, humble bragging, into conversations. Oftentimes, people don't know the difference between telling it like it is, and just being flat out mean. People who tell it like it is only give their opinion when it is warranted because they would want someone to tell them the truth instead of dancing around it. However, some can cross this line and just be straight up rude, while using this same reasoning. Those who tell it like it is are secure, those who are unnecessarily mean are insecure. Not exactly a direct answer to your question, but I've always thought this and wanted to share. When people have and insist on constantly checking on their SO via some tracking app on their phone. It's one thing to have it and use it in case of emergency, but using it while out with your friends to make sure he's actually at work is creepy and super insecure. Posting what you're up to every day on social media. Joint Facebook profiles. Using your internal fear as a reason not to do something. Hate your job. You don't apply for any others because you're scared of being rejected, or that you don't deserve a better job. In a terrible relationship? You stay because you're scared of being alone. That kind of insecurity is the worst IMO because it affects nearly everyone. I mostly see this at work. / people who are in upper management and treat people like garbage just because they can. / being unnecessarily mean, rude or bitter to people. / treating new employees like garbage just because you're threatened they might take your job someday. Lovey-dovey relationship posts and the king/queen posts on FB. If you have to advertise that your relationship is that great, it's probably not that great. Replaced probably with probably. E2, the people demanded, be put back, smiley face. E2A, I also could have worded this better, and didn't expect the type of traction this comment received. I normally try not to lump everything together, as not everyone does it, and saying things like most and all doesn't really work when there are over 7 billion people on this planet. I have a small sample size of FB friends, like 0.0000000000001% of the population. Even myself has posted sappy stuff to FB, but it's a rare occurrence for me. The above comment was geared towards people who post all the time about being in a perfect relationship. I'm sorry if I offended people with my opinion. E3, pet tax. A huge lifted truck without any discernible work purpose being extremely aggressive in traffic. Can't handle being told they're wrong or ignorant about something. I bought a mattress the other day and the salesman had a chin strap and blue flames tattooed up his arms. When I finished checking out, he came up behind my mom and I and said, very seriously, just so you know, people call me Firearms. Later that same day, my dad and I were in the parking lot at Lowe's and a guy with spiked hair pulled into the parking lot in a convertible blasting Crazy Bitch by Buckcherry. I like to think he and Firearms were separated at birth. Bullying people. You don't try to bring other people down if you truly feel good about yourself. Living in the suburbs and getting a giant lifted pickup truck for the sole purpose of intimidating other drivers and driving like a jackass. Immediately getting defensive whenever you try to help them. Anything Eleanor does in the good place. So well done. Me when I scream I'm very insecure. Saying, I'm so random or I'm so funny on a regular basis. Jenna Marbles' dog Kermit. Banning a Disney character from your country just because an university student said it looks like you. Reading this thread hoping nothing applies to you. Dismissing people before they dismiss you. Insulting random people's physical appearance. Posting photos with your so on Facebook every day claiming how madly in love you are and how perfect each other is. Not being able to walk anywhere alone. I am not talking about walking alone at night, but if you are not able to walk to the bathroom or another class alone, you have a problem. People who constantly tell stories to make themselves seem real tough or badass. Yeah, Dad, that's really awesome that you kicked some guy's ass when you were in the Marines 40 years ago. People that modify their shitty lemon of a car to be the loudest piece of shit in a 5-mile radius. People who say sorry all the time. Lying about your opinions and views to fit in while canceling somebody who thinks the exact same as you but chooses to express it. A constant need for affirmation. Lifestyle creep. Constant fishing for compliments when around people, e.g., I'm so chunky, as a direct way to get someone to tell you that you look great. They argue against your grammar, semantics, or micro-details, rather than the point you were obviously trying to make. You showed up to work an hour late. No, I didn't, I was an hour and 4 minutes late. Don't you know the difference between 8 o'clock and 9:04? Oh shit, you sure put me in my place, Josh. The photo in my passport. Talking shit about others. Socially aware individuals understand that the other people have a life to run and might need a day or 7 for them only. Insecure people are going to have a fit, and from the first lapse of communication, they expect that they have been abandoned for some really abstract reason, regardless if it has any merit or not. Grabbing your girl tighter as you walk into public places. Followed by awful looks to anyone who makes eye contact. Constantly comparing yourself to others and desperately looking for validation. Being unable to sit in silence with others without talking, even if there's nothing to talk about. Making small gestures and then constantly seeking validation and reassurance that you are appreciated, even if there's no reason to think you aren't appreciated. Constantly asking if someone is mad at you, even when they have told you several times that they are not mad at you. Trying overly hard to be funny / likable / smart around people who already know you well just to seek attention and validation. Excessive selfies. The more staged / constructed they are, the worse off the person is. I even know people who don't think they look right without a filter. They don't get sad and FD up, that is. When you complain to a waiter / server to impress your date.